We are here to talk about one of the most glittery subjects in the periodic table, which is gold, the metal which is making a lot of noise in the markets.
It's no longer a safe haven. Actually, it's like more than that. It is a real investment. I think last 25 years, if you were to look at compounded annualized returns, I think gold would have done something like 12.5%, 13%. Maybe a little higher because I have not, accounted for last 3 or 4 months of rise. But it would have definitely done around 13%. Equities during this period has done similar, I think 13-14% only. So actually, if you invested in gold over last 25 years, if you did an SIP in gold versus an SIP in equities, you won't have lost too much. Gold has appreciated by almost like 50%.
Yes.
Most countries in the world have started increasing their gold reserve. And India and China have been doing that at a far higher clip. India's gold reserves were around 5 or 6%. Now they have gone to around 14%. When that happens, you could see some significant price corrections. Gold used to trade at around $1,100, $1,200, and it went all the way to $1,900. And but when those that period got over, that economic whatever uncertainty, and the gold prices came off. From $1,900, gold came back to $1,100 and stayed there for another 2 or 3 years. We may see a decline in terms of the amount of gold which gets purchased by Indians on an average, or Chinese. And so while you may see price increases, they may not be of the similar nature what you have seen in the last 25 years.
Okay. The younger generation would rather spend their wealth or immediate wealth that they might have generated for international travel or purchase of a new wardrobe altogether, rather than buying gold.
People like us who are basically in the sunset years, we may be hanging our boots in 2, 3, 5 years, 10 years. We are no longer basically the drivers of the economy.
Fair.
It will be the younger generation. And that younger generation has no interest in gold. If India and China is not going to consume, then who's going to consume? Because we are the biggest populations on the planet.
Fair.
And therefore, you may see that the gold price increases may not be with the same intensity. This is a time probably to sell gold. Then buy gold. Okay, this is not the time to buy gold. Gold is a sunk cost. Gold is not an investment. Gold is an expenditure. And today, now they laugh at me saying that you kept on saying sunk cost, and now see how much gold has appreciated. But still a sunk cost, because I don't think any woman ever will sell any gold jewelry that she has bought, ever. Okay. So whatever you have bought, whatever gold you have bought, whether in the form of coins or bars or jewelry, chances are that that gold will always remain locked in a locker.
Hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Beyond Just Returns. Today we are here to talk about one of the most glittery subjects in the periodic table, which is gold, the metal which is making a lot of noise in the markets as well. We have with us Mr. Raghvendra Nath, Managing Director of Ladderup Asset Managers. So let's begin the conversation about the glittery metal. Welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Upasa.
So, sir, gold has been considered a safe haven for centuries now, especially in India. So, is it genuinely just for the safety purposes, or is there any other merit that the metal has?
No, I think it has been more than safe haven of late, and in the last probably 20-25 years. I think everybody is surprised with the way the gold has appreciated, especially in the last 2 years, and more in the last 4 or 5 years. In fact, if you invested in gold versus if you would have invested in equities in last 4 or 5 years, the returns would have been pretty much the same.
Okay.
And in fact, then last year, if you had shifted from equities all your money, a lot of people were booking profits, and I have not done that actually, and I regret. But a lot of people were booking profits from equity market last year because the valuations had elevated, and if that money was parked in gold, I think you would have got the best of both the worlds. Because I think last year, in the last 12 months, I think gold has appreciated by almost like 50%.
Yes.
And it doesn't seem to let go of any steam actually as we speak. And so probably I think it's no longer a safe haven. Actually, it's like more than that. It is a real investment in the minds of people. And more people are now inquiring whether they made a mistake not having gold, and should they basically be having gold. And now the talk has shifted towards silver.
Correct.
Since gold has become so expensive.
Correct.
Suddenly everybody is now flocking to silver and saying that let's buy silver instead.
Interesting. So, I'm sure you've done a lot of number crunching internally. Could you share a few numbers for the audience to just understand the importance of the situation wherein you could prove that, gold has genuinely generated returns over the past few years, not just maybe 1 year. It's been a consistent rise.
Yeah, true. And in fact, I think last 25 years, if you were to look at compounded annualized returns, I think gold would have done something like 12.5%, 13%, maybe a little higher because I have not, accounted for last 3 or 4 months of rise. But it would have definitely done around 13%. Equities during this period has done similar, I think 13-14% only. So actually, if you invested in gold over last 25 years, if you did an SIP in gold versus an SIP in equities, you won't have lost too much, versus, let's say, if you invested in fixed income, fixed income returns have consistently come down.
Correct.
25 years back, you were making 9, 10, 11% returns in fixed income. Now that return is around 6.5%, 7%, So gold has done actually far better than fixed income over the last 20, 25 years. And it's very surprising actually. Because when we were young, and even now, actually, most financial experts say that gold can only give inflationary returns. Correct. And that's been the past. If you look at, let's say, 80, 90 years history of gold, then you would find that gold has generated maybe only inflationary returns, and therefore because gold is completely driven by supply and demand. Correct. And it doesn't have any economic value. It's not contributing to building the nation,
Okay.
When you are investing with a bank, or when somebody is borrowing money, they are doing some economic activity with that. When you are investing in equities, you are doing some economic activity. In gold, when you are buying gold or buying jewelry and hoarding it, you are not contributing to any economic activity. In fact, you're taking away lot of floating money from the market, float from the market, and investing into an asset which will not have any use. And that's the reason why financial experts have kind of always leaned toward fixed income and equity, not so much towards gold. But gold has surprised everybody.
Interesting. So talking about financial experts, we keep hearing the news about further rise, which is predicted in the market. What drives the speculation or the price movement of gold, and where do you see this going forward?
So this last 5 years has been obviously very, very, the rise you can actually ascribe very specific reasons to the rise that you have witnessed in the last 5 years.
Okay.
The first 2 or 3 years was obviously, first 2 years, let's say 2020 and 2021, the rise that you saw in gold was because of COVID. And the world was in disarray. The economic activity had collapsed in most nations. And gold being a safe haven, as we discussed in the beginning, most people started migrating or moving towards gold. A lot of money started moving, and gold actually increased because demand was far more than the supply. Over the last 2 or 3 years, we have seen that even central banks have started basically increasing their gold reserves.
Okay.
And this generally because the US has been a little volatile, the dollar has been a little volatile in the last 2 3 years. Plus, last 6 8 months, we have seen that the policies of the US government is not in the best interest of most nations. They are just acting like a bully, and therefore everybody wants to create a hedge against US dollar. You know,
Okay.
especially what US did with when the Ukraine Russian war started, freezing the Russian assets and all that. I think most countries are now concerned that they need to basically have some assets in an asset which can be liquidated easily at any time, and it will have a store of value.
Got it.
And so if we remember 30 40 years back, most of the currencies exchange rates were pegged with dollar, with gold.
Gold.
With gold. So how much gold did the country had decided what will be the value of that currency. And then that gold pegging stopped. And free float became the way of deciding what should be the value of the currency. I think somewhere in some little smaller form, I think countries have started realizing that they need to basically have an asset which could be utilized in case of a shock.
Okay.
And so most countries in the world have started increasing their gold reserve. And India and China have been doing that at a far higher clip than other nations, because in fact, if you look at the kind of reserves that countries have, other than, let's say, the developed countries and India and China and maybe Brazil, most countries have very limited reserves. So they can't afford to have those reserves in gold, because they would want those reserves to basically be ready to import.
Correct.
In case some things go wrong. Okay, but China and India has been buying gold very aggressively. And in fact, we did this podcast, I think a podcast a month back, when we discussed that, India, 5 years back, India's gold reserves were around 5 or 6%. Now they have gone to around 14%, And so 6 years back, we only had around $300 billion in forex reserves. Our reserves are now $700 billion. And the percentage of that 700 in gold has gone up. So
Correct.
India has bought a lot of gold, in the last 3-4 years, and so has China. And but while gold could be a useful asset in case of a shock, it also has illiquidity. You can't basically sell a massive amount of gold in the marketplace, because who's going to buy that? And therefore, there is a limit to which a central bank would want to own gold.
Okay.
So I am no expert, and I can't read into the minds of central bankers, but I would say that anything like 17-18% or max 20% in gold reserves is what a central bank would have, at any point, and not more than that. Which means that most of these central banks may stop buying gold somewhere in future. It could be 6 months away. It could be 1 year out or 2 years out. We don't know. But they can't keep buying gold forever. Okay. And because otherwise they create some serious amount of illiquidity in their forex reserves. And so this second phase that we have seen in the gold price appreciation, which is this last 1.5 years, which is essentially driven by the government buying, that could come to an end.
Okay.
And or that could basically plateau even if it doesn't stop completely. the aggression with which the central banks have been buying today, it may just come off and it may stop for a while. And when that happens, you could see some significant price corrections.
Interesting.
Because if you look at similar thing happened in 2011-12, and people forget about it. After the global financial crisis, world was in a similar place. Global financial crisis happened where US was the biggest, had got impacted the most. Europe was next. And then 1 year later, Europe went into a debt crisis. Country after country was getting into a verge of default. Greece happened, then Iceland happened, Portugal got into issues, Spain got into issues, and suddenly there was this fear that there could be large amount of economic instability in the world. Okay. And so most central banks again started buying gold very aggressively. And I remember at that time gold used to trade at around $1,100, $1,200, and it went all the way to $1,900. And but when those that period got over, that economic whatever uncertainty, and the gold prices came off. From $1,900, gold came back to $1,100 and stayed there for another 2 or 3 years.
Got it.
Before COVID hit. So this has happened multiple times. If you look at, let's say, last 60, 70, 80 years of history, this has happened multiple times.
Got
so
it.
if people are thinking that gold price will continue to grow, I think they may they are being too optimistic.
Interesting. So what you're saying is that essentially all these things, especially the central bank role in terms of the gold purchase, could play a role in the future in terms of the rally that gold is seeing.
Yep, definitely.
Fair. And in terms of diversification, as you were mentioning about gold playing that hedge factor in the portfolio, would you still recommend having gold in the portfolio continuously, or would you want people to relook at the allocation currently?
So, I think we say in the financial world, the past returns don't indicate the future returns. And so going by the historical returns may not be the best thing.
Okay.
As far as gold is concerned, okay?
Okay.
So gold may continue to give positive returns. I'm not saying no. Over the next 10, 15 years, gold may still give attractive returns, and it's driven completely by demand and supply. So nobody can say that, I may go completely wrong. But I kind of look at, let's say, last 25 years from a different lens, okay? Today, it's public knowledge that India and China are the biggest buyers of gold in the world. Now, India consumes something like 800 tons every year. Okay, just to give you perspective, the total gold reserves of Reserve Bank of India is 800 tons.
Wow.
And Indian population is consuming 800 tons every single year.
Wow.
And China has something similar, almost like 800, 850 tons.
Okay.
US, despite being the richest nation in the world per capita income basis, has only 150 tons of gold purchases. Okay. So why are we buying so much? And why is now US not buying? Okay. And I think we need to kind of understand that there's this, I think there's some connection with the culturally how we have been, both India and China. China used to have per capita income of around $3,000 in 2000. Today it is around $14,000. Okay, so China has seen increase in per capita, which is like, this middle class in China, which was a massive number, migrated and started becoming upper middle. In India, we have seen that lower middle class basically coming into middle class. Correct. So our per capita income was $1,300. in 2000. Now we are at around $3,000. So where China was, let's say 25 years back, we are today there. Okay. And so this the most of us come from middle class backgrounds. Our parents did not have as much too much money or too many assets, and therefore there's been this inclination of people to invest into real assets.
Got it.
Than paper assets.
Got it.
And even now, if you were to ask, an average Indian, their dream is to basically buy a house first before investing anywhere else.
Correct.
And same is the case with gold. Most women in India, have been investing into gold, and for generations that's been the case. But is this trend likely to continue? Is a thing that we need to ask ourselves, and because the trends also change. We should maybe look at why US is not consuming so much gold. Why is India consuming so much gold, and will it continue to basically be there? I think in the time to come, probably we may see a decline in terms of the amount of gold which gets purchased by Indians on an average, or Chinese. And so while you may see price increases, they may not be of the similar nature what you have seen in the last 25 years.
Okay.
And so when you're looking at investing in gold from here onwards, I think one, you need to have moderation in your expectation when you're investing for 10, 15 years. And if you're looking at next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, you should be really cautious in terms of buying gold, because you may look at last 3 years and say gold has given 50% return, so can it give another 50?
Yeah.
But it just doesn't work that way.
Interesting. Talking about these demographic shifts and cultural trends, I know we've done an interesting survey at Ladderup with real consumers, and that's shown some interesting insights in terms of especially the shift between, or the change in behavior between younger and older generation. So based on the data, majority of the younger generation would rather spend their wealth or immediate wealth that they might have generated for international travel or purchase of a new wardrobe altogether, rather than buying gold, versus the older generation, which might be more skewed towards gold still, as you were saying. Is that shift in demographic also playing a role in how gold will perform in the future?
Actually, and that's very correct. In fact, so we just conducted a dipstick, which you are mentioning, and we did it online, and so people who were, let's say, 45 years and plus, and we asked them this simple question: if you had 20 lakh rupees today, let's say you won 20 lakhs in a lottery, what will you do with this 20 lakhs? And you have to spend this money over, let's say, next 1 week, 10 days. And the choices were: would you invest in gold? Would you rather take an international holiday? Would you upgrade your wardrobe and put some designer clothes and all that in it? Or will you just party, for next few months in the best places, in Mumbai or wherever you are with friends? So blow the money. And it was very surprising that 45 years and plus, majority of the respondents said that they would want to buy gold with that 20 lakh. Okay. Gold jewelry, to be specific, not gold jewelry. And most younger people, anyone who was, let's say, 25 to 35 or 40, most of them either wanted to basically take an international holiday. That was the biggest choice. And then, upgradation of their wardrobe and, those kind of things. And, I keep asking this question. This is not only the dipstick, I keep asking this with younger people. And I keep asking with my generation, the parents basically, that how interested are your children in gold jewelry? And they say they have absolutely no interest,
Sure.
And this is a trend, and we have to understand that People like us who are basically in the sunset years, we may be hanging our boots in 2, 3, 5 years, 10 years. We are no longer basically the drivers of the economy.
Fair.
It will be the younger generation. And that younger generation has no interest in gold. So when you look at 10 years out, 15 years out, 20 years out, you may find that, our consumption is more in line with what is happening in the Western world, which is 100, 150, 200 tons a year, not 800 tons. And which means that if India and China is not going to consume, then who's going to consume? Because we are the biggest populations on the planet.
Fair.
And therefore, you may see that the gold price increases may not be with the same intensity that you have seen in the last 25 years.
Interesting.
And so that's one should be a little cautious about.
Got it. One more concern that's floating around is about the resale value, similar to what happened to diamond as well. If these demographic shifts keep on happening or the interest in gold keeps on declining, especially in the younger generation, do you see that challenge happening in gold also?
So that may not happen so easily. Diamonds, we have seen, diamonds was a very controlled market. Okay, only 2, 3 players in the world, Rio Tinto, De Beers, they control the entire diamond supply. And they always constrained the supply to manage the prices. Okay. And otherwise diamonds won't have been so costly. And then this lab-grown diamonds revolution has come in where, you just can't make a difference between the chemical properties, the physical properties, the shine, everything is the same exactly, whether you buy a lab-grown or a natural. And therefore, there is no reason for people to invest 20, 30 times more than what they can do, by just buying a lab-grown diamond.
Fair.
And that's why the prices have crashed. While gold has been manufactured, I can say that word, in labs. I don't think you will have the same kind of thing. That gold can be commercially produced in labs. If that were to happen, and it's in the realm of possibility. It's then you may just see that the gold prices will actually crash and gold will actually lose all its value.
Fair.
So there is that possibility, but I think right now it is a very, very remote possibility.
Got it. Perfect. In terms of just giving an actionable to our audience, because that's how we usually close our conversations. What is the immediate comment that you would want to give our audience specific to gold?
So most people want to now invest, when the gold price has gone already all-time high. I would say, at the risk of being completely wrong, I think this is a time probably to sell gold. Then buy gold. Okay, this is not the time to buy gold.
Okay.
And I think, and most jewelry businesses in the country and across the world will also see dip in volumes. And in fact, last quarter also we saw some dip in volumes, but they were not significant. If the gold price remains here and gets elevated, you may actually start seeing volumes coming off, and therefore demand supply, this disparity which has got created may actually get back in line. Okay. And so gold prices may actually correct from here or may just stabilize here. So gold, from a short-term standpoint, for let's say investing in for next 2 years or 3 years, I don't think it's a great idea. But if you are wanting to invest in gold from a longer-term standpoint and considering what gold has done last 20, 25 years, you may continue to basically hold whatever gold you have, or maybe do some kind of an SIP in gold, but moderate your return expectations. I don't think in the next 10 years, gold will give double-digit returns.
Interesting. Would then ETF also be a good way to stay invested in gold?
Yeah, why not? ETFs are good actually, and very liquid, and and very easy to buy.
Yeah.
You can buy 5,000 rupees, 10,000 rupees, whatever you want to buy.
So I have another question for you, and which is very intriguing in nature as well. Uh, this generation or the younger one will definitely inherit a lot of gold because of the grandmothers and mothers who might have hoarded a lot of jewelry with them as well. Uh, what happens if they're not interested in keeping that gold jewelry and they decide to sell all of that? What happens to gold?
This can actually, and very interesting, Upasana, because all of us who are buying, who are, investing in gold, and people make fun of me a lot because I used to keep telling my wife and everybody else that gold is a sunk cost. Gold is not an investment. Gold is an expenditure. And today, now they laugh at me saying that you kept on saying sunk cost, and now see how much gold has appreciated. But still a sunk cost, because I don't think any woman ever will sell any gold jewelry that she has bought, ever. Okay. So whatever you have bought, whatever gold you have bought, whether in the form of coins or bars or jewelry, chances are that that gold will always remain locked in a locker, and you may wear it occasionally 10, 20, 30 times, and that's about it, And most of this gold, therefore, will get inherited by our children.
True.
And that's a massive amount of gold in any case, which the next generation is going to inherit from the current generation. In fact, in US, there are these estate sales which happen. Okay, so children are living in urban areas in cities, and they have no interest in their parents' estate. Parents were living alone, and they die, and kids don't have time to basically come and acquire the estate. So they appoint an agent who just values every item in the household.
Correct.
Okay, and then they basically put an advertisement, and then people flock on to their homes, and they basically pick up whatever they need, the sofa and a kettle and a piece of jewelry or a pen, whatever is lying there, And it's become very, very common. If you are staying in, let's say, any large suburbs in US, and you just go through papers and all that, every day you will find multiple estate sales happening. In India, we have not seen that, isn't it?
True.
Whatever our parents left, we have preserved, or we have kind of, given away to somebody or whatever. But you don't see that. So something like this can happen for the next generation, whatever assets we have accumulated. We are seeing that in real estate already. Parents bought real estate. Children have no interest whatsoever in that real estate. So they start selling it at whatever price. And so there's a very real possibility that 20, 30 years down the line, the amount of gold which people are buying and the selling actually matches, or the supply of gold increases. Today the supply, the amount of gold which is getting mined is very small.
True.
It's actually not so high. So and that's the reason why when the demand is high, supply is less, the price keeps going up. If all this gold came into the market and people started selling their gold, then the gold prices may not increase or sustain or may correct,
Interesting. So we are seeing a lot of changes that could actually impact how gold
can. So and these demographic shifts happen over a long period of time. We fail to recognize these shifts, but they happen. 20 years back, India, the percentage of money in financial assets was just 4%.
Correct.
In India. This number is already 8 or 9%, And so there's a shift. In just 5 years back, the total number of demat accounts in India was 3 crores. Now we have 18 crore demat accounts, Just 5 years back, the number of SIPs per month or amount of SIP would have been maybe $1,000
Yeah.
crores per month. This number is 26,000
Yeah.
crores, $3 billion, and it's increasing at 20% every year. So these demographic shifts happen. We just fail to see these things. And especially when you see an asset very, very volatile, going up 30, 40, 50, 60% and just not coming down. So people think it's never going to come down, because every time they played for selling the asset went up, and therefore there's a sense of incredulity, but also a sense of confidence that nothing is going to happen, nothing bad will happen.
Fair. Interesting. I think this has been a very eye-opening conversation as well. Very intriguing questions answered. I'm sure the audience will appreciate some controversial responses as well from your end. So thank you.
I don't know if they are controversial or not.
No, at the time, everybody, while they're hoping to invest more in gold, and somebody comes and says that please be cautious. I think that's
true.
Fair. Perfect. Thank you so much for spending time with us. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Beyond Just Returns. We'll be back with much more interesting topics which are beyond just returns. So please keep watching this space for more. Do like the channel and do subscribe to the channel.